It's clear the unthinkable is here. With the recent media distractions, most folks never saw it coming, but some did. Their guts told them something was wrong, and the headlines are proving them right. Our so called trusted institutions tell you not to worry, that everything's fine, but you know better. Self reliance does not happen overnight. You have to start somewhere. Start with My Patriot Supply. My Patriot Supply, the country's largest preparedness company, is more than equipped to stock your shelves. Ditch the canned vegetables and boxed pasta. Their best selling 3-month food kit provides delicious breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years. These meals offer over 2,000 calories every day with a balance of protein and carbs to keep you fed and ready in the event of an emergency. Just add water and heat and then eat. Start to strengthen your food supply with this 3-month food kit from My Patriot Supply. Visit preparewithjericho.com to get ready. Order now for fast and free shipping. That is preparewithjericho.com. What's going on, everyone? I told you I would be here twice. Double duty on the live streams today, but I am not alone. I brought reinforcements, and damn good reinforcements at that. He's been on Stop the Fuckery before. You've seen him on panels with myself, Brandon Tatum, ABL, but now I got him. Now it's just me and him, repping Texas, family man, pro-American. You know him, you love him. Oliver Mack.
What's up? What's going on, Jericho?
Hey, not much, man. I'm glad you're here. I appreciate your time. As I mentioned, you are a family man, so there are other people who want your attention. So we're not going to waste any time. But I thank you for being here, man.
Hey, no problem. Hey, I ain't heard your new intro music. That intro is fire. I was vibing out to that before you came on.
Thank you, man. Dope. Shout out to my boy Shant. He made that one for me. I mean, it makes you want to put on like a Hugh Hefner jacket.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Turn the lights down low, probably get some cognac.
Yeah, I felt like a real pimp.
Yeah, man. That's my boy. He's a very talented young man. I appreciate that. I like it. I wish it was longer so I can listen to a little bit more. But yeah, man, thank you. And if you guys don't know, go into the description section. I put a link to Oliver Mack's YouTube channel. You can catch him on Instagram at Right Winged Angel. And if you guys follow me, you know, I get quite a bit of stuff, you know, from his Instagram. Shout out to B. Tatum. I see him using Oliver's stuff all the time. So if you want a good follow, you want to know what the hell is going on. And I mean, Oliver stays with his finger on the pulse. Like if it's new and it's happening, it's on his page. So I recommend you guys give him a follow as well at Right Winged Angel, as you see it on the screen before you. So what's going on in Texas, man? What's the temperature out there? Is Texas still a stronghold? Has Texas become Austin, or can we still look to Texas as they haven't fallen for the banana in the tailpipe? There's still hope.
Well, if you go to the major cities in Texas, you would think it was California or any other liberal city. But in the suburbs of Texas and the rural areas of Texas, it is true red. It is a stronghold for Republicans. But of course, you have all these densely populated areas like these big cities who are basically, you know, trying to turn Texas blue, like every chance we get, or at least turn it purple. So we got to get out in large numbers and get out there and vote. I live 30 minutes away from the city of Houston, and they just had a mayoral race. And there's going to be a runoff with this white guy. I can't remember his name, but he's going to be running against Sheila Jackson Lee. So I am, yes, I am a little terrified that Sheila Jackson Lee may be Houston's next mayor because I work in Houston. So it's definitely going to affect me.
Now, Sheila Jackson Lee is not your average, everyday, dumb politician. She's dumber. She is the one who said that an AR-15 weighs as much as 10 boxes.
Yep.
She didn't specify, are these empty boxes? Are these boxes, do they have something in them? And if so, what's in them? And she also said that an AR-15 shoots 50 caliber ammunition.
Yeah. Yep, she sure did.
Now, If you know about guns, could you take an AR-15 frame and change out some parts and make it shoot a 50 caliber round? Yes, but it would be more like the 50 caliber pistol round. If
Yeah.
you're talking about like a full size 50 caliber, like the Ma Deuce 50 caliber that they use in the military, that's not going to work.
Like a 50 BMG.
Yeah, if you're not going to have, if it does that, it's no longer an AR-15 frame.
Right.
But I don't think she is smart enough to where that's what she meant. She just thinks, like most of these idiots who make the laws about what we can and can't do with our guns and what we can and can't put on them or put in them, she don't know shit. She knows nothing. No. They know fear mongering. They know that they're speaking to the dummy. They're not speaking to people like us who are informed. They're not speaking to people like us who have common sense. They are focusing on the dummy because those are the only people who would believe something like that.
Yep, absolutely. Like I said, that person could be Houston's next mayor, and I think they're going to celebrate that because it's diversity, right? That's what it's all about. We got a black woman, you know, the oppressed of us people, the black woman, the double. I've heard this from people. If you got a woman who's black, she's double oppressed. She's two times the oppression as a regular black person. So that's going to be something that they're going to try to get in place. These wokies and these dummies out there, they're going to try to make her the mayor of the city of Houston.
Wow, so she's woke square. She's oppressed squared.
Yeah, she's oppressed squared. Yeah.
Dang, does she? I wonder if she walks. If black women walk with a hunch because they're carrying
the weight of the world on their shoulders every day. You know what it is.
They're carrying twice the oppression. Oh my God! People, stop. I don't understand this yoke that people voluntarily put on themselves. Mm-hmm. You're not oppressed. You're not held back. You're not stifled in any way, but they want to be. They want, no, give me that yoke. Give me that oppression. Give me that albatross, I think it is, around my neck. Mm-hmm. I want to be oppressed. I don't have to be. I don't need to be, but I want to be. I just don't understand it. If you don't believe you're oppressed, then you're not. You're not oppressed. You can do whatever who is stopping you? In America, one of the great things we have over most other countries, not only our Constitution, but this thing called recourse. If you are being discriminated against, or you really are being oppressed because of your gender or your race or both, there are entire organizations out there that you can go to say, hey, those people over there are discriminated against me, and I have proof. You can take your pick from the attorneys who will line up to take that case.
Yep. I actually made a video about that. I was reacting to someone saying that racism finds us. Racism always finds black people. And I'm like, where is it? Because I'm looking for it, because I know that if I was ever discriminated against based on my race, then I would get a payday. Somebody's going to be lining up. Some lawyer is going to be lining up to represent me so I can get some money from it. So I'm waiting for some racism to happen to me, but I never find the racism. So where is it?
I don't know, man. I'm searching high. I'm searching low, because that would be, I mean, you find a lawyer and you could just name how much you want to sue him for.
Yep.
Because the more you sue him for, the more of a cut that they're going to get. Let's say they take 10%. Well, the bigger the number, the bigger that 10%. So it would behoove them to find cases like this. And you would think that people would come forward with those cases so they can say, aha, I told you, America is racist. Look, I have the proof, but I just don't see it, man. I keep looking, I keep checking my feeds, on different outlets and platforms. I
walk outside, I'm trying to find it. I'm walking in my majority white neighborhood, just trying to find some racism. I go to work trying to find some racism. I don't see it.
Nothing.
I don't see
Come
it.
up empty-handed. Yeah, especially in when you're in predominantly white areas, you are in the danger zone.
Yeah.
So you think it would be plentiful around all these white folk, but
it should be based on what I've been hearing, based on what everybody's saying. I should be coming across it every day. I shouldn't be able to
Easily.
walk. I shouldn't be able to walk down the street without getting shot as a black person in my majority white neighborhood. But I walk my dog all the time. I walk around the neighborhood with my son. I'm still alive.
Yeah, and not only are you in a predominantly white neighborhood and you're black, you're in Texas, so everybody has a gun.
Everybody got a gun. These gun-toting patriots out here in Texas supposed to take me out because I'm a black man.
Nothing. Damn it. All right, man. Well, when you find some, you let me know.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Let me know.
I like this. I like to spread the wealth.
Yeah, let me know so I can get in on that and we can both get paid. Okay, so we were talking before we got started, and there's a few things that I want to talk to you about specifically. And this will go wherever it goes. But these three things I want to get your opinion on. So something that I saw on your page, and I'll let it speak for itself, but it's horrible. And we've seen things like this, but it doesn't make it any easier when we see it again. We've seen these images before. Maybe we've seen images worse than this, but it doesn't make it any easier when you see it again. And then the sad part, the extra layer of sadness in this is there's a bunch of men there. I imagine one guy, he's holding a baby and he's excited. So I imagine that's his baby. But they're all men here. I don't see any women in this picture, or in this footage. Not to say that there aren't any there, but there's men here. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 men. And yet we still have this kind of ignorant behavior. And I'm pretty sure that somewhere along the line, I would bet all of these men were raised by single mothers.
Ding, ding, ding.
But here we go. I'm going to share the screen with you so you guys can all take part in whatever the hell this is, this savage culture. This isn't black culture. I want people to understand that. This is not black culture. Black culture falls in line with American culture. That's what it is. There's no black culture. There's just American culture. This is not American culture. This is nigga culture right here. So you got this little boy, 5, maybe 6 at the most, holding a gun with his finger on the trigger. He's gyrating in the beginning. Of course, the money, got to have the money because that's all that's important. Material things. The little kid, he's 2 or 3. He's picking the gun up, finger on the trigger. They look like Glocks, so maybe they're not loaded because once you load a Glock, there's no safety on it. But when I first saw this, I kept expecting the gun to go off and maybe shoot one of the other little kids in the head or shoot one of these idiots who gave him the gun. So what say you, Oliver Mack?
I saw this video floating around the internet for about 2 or 3 days before I even touched it. I was actually trying to find the original video, but I just could not find it. So I was just trying to see what the context was. I mean, I guess there wouldn't be any context. How would you justify this buffoonery that we're seeing in front of us today in this video? But yeah, I thought it was absolutely appalling to see these people. And the fact that you see all these men in this video. I don't see any women in the video. So this is behavior that I usually expect to see with single mothers, toxic single mothers, raising children on their own, raising little boys to be the gangsters, the thugs that they like to date. But this is a video full of men, which, like you said, I believe are raised by nothing but single mothers. So this behavior, this type of mentality was passed down from their mothers to them and then now passed down to their children. So I think it's crazy that we're seeing this type of stuff. And the fact that people would actually post this to social media, like, people have no shame. I always say, make shame great again, because people should be shamed for doing stuff like this. But of course, we're not able to say anything negative about black people, even when you see black people doing stuff like this.
This is terrible, man. I mean, let's be honest. Most of the people in this footage probably won't be around much longer. I'm sure some of those dudes in the back are going to get shot. Those little boys are going to grow up to get shot or shoot somebody else and go to prison. It's almost like, why don't they see the pattern? How many funerals do you have to go to? How many t-shirts, how many airbrush t-shirts you got to have your closet full of before you realize this shit doesn't go anywhere.
Nope.
Can you imagine how these little boys are in class? What teacher wants to teach these little bastards? Their single mom's probably going to run up there. My baby didn't do that, and want to punch the teacher out when it's your badass little baby kid that they have to deal with.
Yep.
This man, if my dad came in the room and I'm playing with a gun, it's an automatic ass whooping, and I'll have PTSD every time I see a damn gun after that. But this peacocking, this look at my money, look at my gun, this is very superficial. I bet every dude in there, all he wants is a hug from his daddy. If his daddy came in there and hugged him, they'd be crying like a baby. Because all this shit is fake, man. This bravado, this gun, I'm tough. No, you're not. None of them are tough. And in all the documentaries you've seen in the world, if they're from prison, what is the question? The last question they always ask these dudes in prison, or if it's some kind of hood documentary and they're out on the streets with gangbangers, what do you want to say to the youth? And what do those dudes say every single time? Don't do it. Stay in school. You think my homeboys are in here with me in prison? You think my homeboys come and visit me? Don't do it. Don't do it. And I think that's what they really feel on the inside. But when you're raised by a toxic single mother, you're not going to have anybody telling you that, because you're going to be all about your emotions, all about showing off. And even dancing, when you see people in the hood, like boys that dance really well. I don't know. I think that's weird. I think that's kind of feminine.
I think it is too.
To be dancing like that. Why do you dance? And I mean, there are great dancers out there that are men. I'm not saying men can't dance, but it's very effeminate when you see them dancing like this and they're like bending over. I don't know. The shit's weird, man. But when I saw this, I was like, I got to talk to Oliver about this, because this is sad, man.
Yep. And they always want to blame white supremacy or racism for why you see black people doing stuff like this. No, that's just us. This is the type of behavior that we choose to participate in. And we choose to participate in this type of behavior more than anybody that I ever see. I mean, people always tell me, well, why don't you show white people doing stuff like this? Why are you always pointing out negativity when it comes to black people? Trust and believe. I search and I search and I search for white people doing the same thing. I don't find it. I even tell the people that hate on me, like, say, oh, well, why don't you find white people doing stuff like this? I was like, okay, send me some videos of white people doing the same stuff that I show black people doing in my post. And then I'll post it. And I told a guy, I was like, okay, if you can send me 5 videos in a row of white people doing the exact same thing that I show black people doing, then I'll post whatever you want me to post for a whole month. And he can't do it because it doesn't exist.
Yep.
We're the only people that glorify this type of stuff. And like you said earlier, this is not black culture, this nigga culture. Like, nigga culture is a totally different animal than what we say black culture is. Like you said, black culture is akin to white culture. It's American culture. We're all one country, so we all share the same culture. But this nigger culture that you see, where people are partaking in these activities with guns, with the music that we see, with the stripper culture, like all this stuff is just a subset of what we see going on within the black community. And I have to point this stuff out, because if I don't, like, I say that I'm doing more to end racism than anybody else, because I'm showing people, white people, that this is not how all black people act, right? There's a certain group of black people that act like this. And I'm a black person and I'm calling this stuff out. So I'm telling you that even if you may not know any black people, that not all black people are like this. So everything that you see in the mainstream media, everything that you see on social media does not represent all black people, because you have black people like me and Jericho that call out and are against the stuff that everybody is seeing, because everybody's seeing this stuff. It's not like we're hiding it. It's not like I'm presenting stuff that I just pulled out off of somebody's social media page and it wasn't already viral. This stuff has already gone viral. So black people have seen it, white people have seen it, Hispanic people, everybody has seen this stuff. And I'm just showing you that this is not a representation of all black people. And you do have black people who call this stuff out and are against it.
Agreed, man. And Eric Schultz says white people do it on TikTok. It's primarily 304. I think that means hoe. But when you, even if you see white people doing this, who are they around? Who do they adopt that from?
Yep, they
this
get
nigga
from black
culture
people.
right here.
Yep.
That's
You
where
absolutely
that's where it
right.
comes from.
You're absolutely right.
Pure Blood says, I work in Chicago. Black culture ain't like white culture at all. I beg to differ, because black people were born and raised in America, in American culture. So we all celebrate Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays, 4th of July. We have the exact same experiences as white people. There are subtle differences. I mean, our households aren't exactly the same. I had white friends growing up, and their house was different than mine in some ways, but the foundation was the same. The foundation was the same. We went to work, raised our kids. You know, I had white friends that got their ass whooped just like we got our ass whooped. There are a lot of similarities. The majority, mostly similarities. We have much more in common than we do not in common. And joining the military and seeing shit like that, we have a bunch of similarities. So I don't agree with that. I don't agree that black culture is not like white culture. Nigga culture is not like white culture. But I disagree with that.
Yeah, I've learned that too, Jericho, because there's been things, and I grew up around mostly black people my whole life. I went to a mixed school for elementary school, but for high school, I was at an all black school. My whole family is black. So I grew up thinking that black people were totally different than white people, and we had nothing in common. But since I started my social media platform and I've connected with people of all different races, a lot of times I'd post stuff on my stories and I'll say, oh, this is a black thing, right? This is something I grew up thinking was a black thing. Then I have people send me messages say, oh, well, white people do that too, or I do that too, and I'm white, or I do that too, and I'm Hispanic. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe we're more similar than I thought, and maybe we should stop trying to divide each other or thinking that we're so different, because that's how I grew up as a black person, thinking, oh, we're completely different than white people, you know, and that's just not true.
No, and I think, like this next comment from that person, y'all are nothing like white people. How is that possible? We grew up in the same country. We grew up under the same rules and regulations and laws. So how are we not similar? That's just impossible. That's impossible to raise two things in the same space and not have them not have similarities. That's just not possible at all. And if you have similar family structure, then you're going to have similar results in the people that come out of that family structure.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, yes, there are differences. You know, I think it was Denzel Washington who was talking about different directors. He said Martin Scorsese would be better at telling the story of Italian Americans versus, you know, say John Singleton telling the story about growing up in a black neighborhood. You know, there are differences, but there's still a ton of similarities.
Yeah, I would also add this. I think that there's similarities between black people who grew up in poverty and white people who grew up in poverty. And then, I mean, I'm sorry. Yeah, there's similarities between that. And there are also similarities between black people who grew up rich and white people who grew up rich. So I think it's more of your position, I guess, in the wealth, like, you know, how much money you make or what kind of situation you grew up in, that'll tell more about how you were raised or the things that you were exposed to than your race.
And this person also says, go to an all black gathering as a white person and go to an all white gathering as a black person. Please, there's a safety aspect for real. Again, you're talking about going around a bunch of niggas, because when my white friends would come over to my house for Thanksgiving, or they would come to a family function, they were accepted and just like I was. There was no safety concern. I've been around different kinds of white folks. You know, I've been around some dangerous white folks before. So, you know, that again, it has nothing to do with the color. It has to do with the upbringing and the environment. That's the difference. I've been around a bunch of white folks that I feel unsafe around or safe around. And same thing with a white person going around black folks. My wife, she's white. She's been to family functions before. That wasn't nothing, because there were no niggas there. That's why.
There's a big difference, my brother. You got to understand that. There's a huge difference between black people and niggas.
Then he says, name one safe all black gathering in Chicago. Come on. I know, shout out to Megan McGlover. She used to live in Chicago. I would go to a function of hers with all black folks because she's a classy black person, and that's who she aligns herself with. There are black folks that other black folks won't go around. So it's not about color. It's about the environment, and it's about how people are raised and how they behave. It's not about the color.
Yeah.
So you can't convince me of that one, Pure Bud. But hey, I'm glad that you're here and we're having this back and forth. But I don't think you'll ever convince me of that because my experiences are different. I've lived the opposite of what you're saying, so I know it's true.
Yep.
So, but hey, I'm glad we talked about it. None the miser says, isn't Oprah from Chicago? And that's the most dangerous thing to ever come out of Chicago. Especially if you're an underage girl. Get you around Harvey Weinstein and it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, one more. He says, I'm a truck driver who delivers to USPS, the U.S. Postal Service, Terminal Chicago, and they are racist as fuck. You're wrong. Nah, man,
But that's the niggas, though.
Yeah. Yeah, man.
That's who you're dealing with. That's the niggas, though. Like, you got to understand there's a big difference.
There's a huge difference. And they might be more prevalent. You're going to find more people like that. You're going to find more niggas in big cities because that's where they are.
Yeah, that's the nigga habitat.
Yeah, that's where they are. That's where you. That's like if you go to a zoo, every animal has a different habitat.
Yep.
And when you're in Chicago, you're in the nigga enclosure. You're in the nigga habitat. So there's going to be niggas everywhere. But I guarantee you, if you were to go to a rural setting in Illinois, where around those black folks, you're not going to have that.
Nope.
You wouldn't have it. You're going to have more of the Mayberry experience. You're not going to have the experiences that you're having delivering. And hey, man, stay safe because if you're working in Chicago, stay safe. And thank you for being here.
Yes, sir.
Ooh, Chicago. No, man. I remember I was in the Navy and I was going home after boot camp because Navy boot camp is in Great Lakes, Illinois. So the nearest airport is Chicago O'Hare. And so I went there and I got there early. So I'm waiting for my flight and I step outside to smoke a cigarette. And I swear, inside the airport, before the doors open, you hear flight number, blah, blah, blah. You hear the goings on of the airport. When that door opened up and I step outside, sirens, woo, 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 all this noise and shit. They were prostitutes in front of the airport. I was like, no, I put that cigarette out about halfway and I was like, let me get my ass back inside because Chicago is not for me. It just isn't.
Yeah, I've never been there. So maybe one day I'll go there.
You don't need to get a bulletproof vest, then you can go. Because even the nice parts, they're messing that up.
The nice parts are bad?
Yeah, well, I mean, they're not bad, but that element creeps in. I remember, what was it, last year, Mayor Googly Eyes, she had to shut down downtown for people 16 and over after a certain time. So that element, that element is definitely creeps in over there. That's why you better head to the burbs, people. Head to the burbs.
Yeah, well, I'm originally from New Orleans, so I got to experience a lot of Chicago. It's like a mini Chicago over there. So
yeah, my aunt lived in New Orleans. I remember dropping my cousin off in New Orleans. I was like, what the hell is this? Oh, man.
Did you find yourself in the projects, Jericho?
I sure did.
Oh, yeah.
I sure did. And, again, to speak to that point, that's not how I grew up. I grew up in a rural setting in California, and that wasn't my atmosphere at all. I was looking outside like I was in all the stuff I heard because I was about 12. So I was getting into rap music. So all that stuff that I listened to, I'm seeing it.
Like
I was like, Dad.
Like, this is it. This is all the stuff they've been talking about. I've been listening to it. Oh my God, this is real.
Let's go. Let's get the hell out of here. Let's get I almost told my cousin, look, tuck and roll. My dad's gonna slow down to about 35. And you just tuck and roll because we cannot stop here. We sure did.
But you know what's so crazy about that? So I lived in New Orleans until I was almost 30. I didn't move until a year before I got married to my wife. And when I was there, like I witnessed murders. I've been around a bunch of horrible things and just didn't really see anything wrong with it. Like it wasn't really a big issue. I've seen people get shot. I've witnessed people bleeding to death. Like it was just a thing. Oh, this is just what we do. Like this is just something that you experience in this city. So I kind of got used to it. Listening to gunshots every night when I was a kid, it just is what it is. But once I got older and I moved out of that environment and moved to Texas, now when I go to New Orleans, I'm like, I'm not going in this neighborhood. I'm not going to see this person. They live in this bad area, so I stay out of certain areas, certain places I used to go. I don't go anymore. So it's crazy that once you're out of that environment, like you get adjusted, and now it's like, yeah, I don't want to be around that anymore. But I see that there's a lot of people who are actually in those environments that get used to it and have no problem staying in there. That's why sometimes I wonder, like, how do these people stay in Chicago? Why don't people want to leave Chicago? Because you get used to it. It feels like this is safe for me.
Yeah, something I learned a long time ago, man. People can get used to anything.
Yep.
You know, you have people who grow up in bad situations, and again, as a kid, going to other people's houses, and it's really important to, and, you know, not just anybody, but it's important as a kid to go to other kids' houses, to go to your friend's house and see the things you should be appreciative of in your house, and see that, oh, wow, you know, all houses aren't like mine, aren't all households aren't filled with love
Mm-hmm.
and structure and discipline and cleanliness and food. Um, my son has a friend, and he went over to his house a couple of weeks ago, and we went to pick him up. He's the first thing he said to me, "Dad, I don't want to go back over there."
Wow.
And I'm thinking, why? What's wrong? What happened? He's like, "Oh, nothing happened. It's dirty. It's loud. They got animals in the house. There's dog hair everywhere. The mom smokes in the house and cusses, and
Mm-hmm.
just things he's not used to."
Yep.
And you know, I do low level cussing in front of my kids. I say ass, shit, but it's not part of my everyday vocabulary. If I say that, I'm upset. But
Yeah.
cussing F bombs, MF, all that, and
Mm-mm.
pussy, words like that, I don't say that around my kids. I just don't. Kids don't need to hear everything.
Mm-mm.
Kids need to be kids, adults need to be adults. So I don't talk
Right.
like that around my kids. So for him to be thrown off the deep end into that kid's house, he was just like, Dad. I was like, see? You see how good you got it? Come here.
Yep.
Look at this floor. You know, dog hair on this floor. Open that
Mm-hmm.
pantry. You know what I mean? And they're safe and clean and uh not intense, not a lot of yelling and screaming and
Right.
foul language. So I'm glad
Yep.
he got to see that.
Yeah, that's the kind of stuff you want your kids to get used to, so they know that the other way is just not what you want to see. I got used to the bad way, and then I had to now get used to being in a good environment. So it's totally opposite.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. Because
Yep.
life is going to snatch their innocence soon enough. So we have to preserve that
Absolutely.
um as long as we can. Do the best we can. So something else I wanted to talk to you about, Oliver Mack, if that's your real name, um, is this outbreak. And maybe it's been around and I'm just not noticing it. You know, it's a big world out there. I don't catch everything on my radar. But something I'm noticing, um, one second. Something I'm noticing more of are these first black things. Like I put this on my Instagram page. Former waitress becomes first black female to own an Outback steakhouse. 10-year-old gymnast becomes first Afro-Latina girl to own her own leotard business. The first coconut water. I mean, what is this shit? If any other race said that, it's like the NBA versus the WNBA. If a
Mhm.
WNBA player does a slam dunk, it could be the most basic shit you've ever seen. It could be the way a foreign NBA player dunks, right? Like not a black dude, like some Russian or something. Like they
Yeah.
don't know how. So if a WNBA player, if a woman in the WNBA does a dunk, people are out of their seats. Oh my goodness, she dunked it. If a
Mhm.
man in the NBA does that same basic ass dunk, he's admonished, man, that was weak. He'll get torn apart on Twitter. His teammates will be like, what the hell was that shit? So I think it's the same thing with this first black nonsense, but people and black people are celebrating this. It's almost like they're doing the bigotry of low expectations on themselves.
Yeah.
Like they're doing that Jedi mind trick on themselves. Nobody cares that you're it was in Detroit. It said the first black woman to unapologetically own a Little Caesars. So
where they put unapologetically?
Yes, she's the first black woman to unapologetically own a Little Caesars restaurant in Detroit.
So did they have a black woman who apologetically owned the Little Caesars?
What does that mean? Thank you for the Little Caesars. I'm sorry. What the fuck does that mean? And why are we the ones to fall for that shit? Why are we the ones to celebrate? I don't want to call it mediocrity because that's not mediocre to own something, to own a business, but other people do it all the time. So why are we getting excited over some shit that other races do on a regular basis?
Right. You even said it. It's a soft bigotry of low expectations. I think that's something that's running rampant in the black community. We don't have high expectations for each other. So when we do anything, it has to be praised. It has to be seen as the best thing ever. And I think it's just, I mean, this is what everybody should be trying to do, right? This is what everybody should be striving for. You should be striving to own your own business. You should be striving to be whatever, like striving to be great. But since we have so many people that aren't great, I guess, I hate to say it, but I guess it's because we have so many people that aren't great in our community that when we see anything that's considered great, we have to praise it. We have to act like it's the biggest thing ever, when in actuality, this is just life. This is just how people should live. I mean, you should be striving to take care of your family. You should be striving to make as much money as you possibly can. You should be striving to better your own community. But all that stuff is seen as extraordinary in the black community, which it shouldn't be. I think we should get to the point where it's just normal, right? If a black person owns a business, that's normal. If a black person becomes a doctor or a lawyer, that's normal. If a black person, I know you posted something on your page about the first all black flight crew or some crap like that. So it's like, anything like that, that should be just what we do, right? Just what we do as human beings, what we do as Americans, chasing the American dream. And it shouldn't matter what color we are. It just is what it is. And I think we should look at things like that instead of always trying to be the first black person to do this, the first black person to do that. And I say this a lot about black people, that we put so much weight and so much emphasis on our skin color. It's ridiculous. Like, I wish that we didn't do that, because for me as a black person, I don't give a crap about my skin color. Like, I don't make my skin color the biggest part of myself, or the reason why I'm achieving, or the reason why I should be celebrated or praised. It is what it is. I was born this way. This is a skin color that my mom and dad made me. So I had no control over that. It is not something for me to be proud of. I don't care. I don't have this black pride because I'm black. I have pride because I'm a family man taking care of my family. I have pride because I'm doing things for my community. I have pride because I'm trying to spread a message. I have pride because I'm trying to be better than the generation before me. And I think a lot of black people should take that in consideration. Stop putting so much emphasis on skin color, because it means nothing. What means something is the jobs that you hold, the values that you have, the family that you're raising, and the community that you're lifting up.
Exactly, man. And I wish people would focus more on that. And namely us, because it starts with us. It starts, the world is going to treat you the way that you present yourself to be treated, the way you tell the world to treat you. And if you tell the world to treat you like a child or some kind of victim, then that's what they're going to do. And unfortunately, those of us who don't believe that will get swept up with the nonsense. And I think that if I know that this wouldn't happen. Hey, Bacon Stuffed Donut, thanks, man. He's got to go feed the kids. Thanks for being here.
Cool.
I know that it would change if there were more black people, because you wouldn't have this concentrated group of largely unachievers. You would have more black folk, which means you would have more successful black folk, which means you could raise the bar and get the representation that some black folks cry about. I wish we had more of us here and there, and I saw more of us on TV and in politics. We could have that if there were more of us, but we can't get our numbers up. We're either aborting our babies or we're shooting them when they come out. That's the bottom line. Half of the homicide victims in this country are black folks every year, yet we're hovering around, 12% of the population. We can't get our numbers up, so we're never going to do better if there aren't more of us to do better. And you have 20 million plus gone since 1973, since Roe v. Wade. Imagine we're at 40 million black people now. Imagine we had another 40 million or 60 million. There would be way more. We would be over 100 million people, and then we'd be a third of the country. Then you would see more black folks doing the right thing, not this group of savages doing the wrong thing.
Right. Yep, absolutely. But unfortunately, if we don't change the culture, even if we had more black people in this country, we'd have more black people killing each other, unfortunately, because we need to do a lot to change how people are thinking and how people are living in these black communities.
It's a damn shame, man. But I'm so sick of the first black. I'm like, stop that shit. Nobody gives a fuck. No one's the first white, the first Indian. I don't care.
I would love to see that one day. The first white person to do something. I just want to see what happened to that. I want to see what happened to that person. I want to see how the mainstream media is going to cover. I would just want to see.
Bro, just take a match and throw it into a bucket of gasoline. That's what would happen. What? White people? You're a piece of shit. So stupid. But Eric Schultz says, Jericho, would you say it's the LBJ effect? Because that's when all of this shit started. LBJ, the president who took over after, what's up, Will? After Kennedy got shot, and he had the famous quote, I'll have these niggers voting Democrat for the next 200
years. Yeah.
And he was also president during the start of the civil rights movement, which wasn't all positive. You know, they drape things in names like civil rights movement. Well, that sounds good, but it wasn't all good. It actually started the decline of the black community. I think the whole LBJ thing might have been the start of it. I think it was the beginning. It was the ball that got rolling down the hill. But no matter the master plan that they come up with or how well it's crafted, it's not going to take place, and it's not going to be carried out unless we help. We have to help it along, and we have to go to the abortion clinic, and we have to snuff out our babies, and we have to pull the trigger, and we have to beat each other down when we see one of us trying to do well. It doesn't happen without our help. So yes, part of it, LBJ has some blood on his hands, but our hands are soaked in blood, dripping in blood. So it begins and ends with us. I met somebody who really honestly believes that the CIA flew over the hood and dropped crack into the hood. Okay, let's say that happened. Let's say you're walking down the street, you find this crate that has CIA stamped on it and it's full of crack cocaine. Well, it's not going to do anything to destabilize your community unless you take it out of the box and you sell it and you start killing for it. So I'm all about personal responsibility, good or bad, win or lose. It's on you. Damn LBJ's plan. Who carried that shit out? So ultimately, I think it falls on us. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is where it started. I believe that the welfare state incentivized women to have babies without men being involved. I think it made it easy for them to get pregnant and live off the government. And they chose to get the men out of the house so they can get that government check so they wouldn't have to work. I think that was a big part of it. But like you said, it falls on us because all other races were given that same incentive. But the black community is the community that took advantage of it the most. So it's not about what Lyndon Baines Johnson did. I got tongue tied on that. But it's not about what he did. It's about what we did. And we have to take some accountability and some personal responsibility for the decision that we made back then to marry the government. And unfortunately, there were a lot of people who did that. I mean, I saw a video that was posted about women saying that they didn't need a man. It was in the 70s, I believe, and they were talking about how they didn't need a man anymore. Like they would just get on the government and get on welfare, and men weren't important. So that was a decision that we made as a community. That was a decision that Black women made back then, and it affects us today, because that's really that was the turning point in the Black community, because we were getting married. We did have stable neighborhoods. We had clean, nice neighborhoods. But as soon as this welfare started, it was like Black women say, you know what? I don't need to deal with the issues of having a relationship, having a husband. I can have my baby, and I could also not work. I'm good with that. And that's what they did.
Yeah, and much like Black folks' history in this country, it wasn't all bad and it wasn't all downtrodden. Even during slavery, we had better numbers as far as a nuclear family and success in the Black community. After post-slavery, 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, we were doing better than white folks in some situations, if not as good as them. We had our own. This is part of the downside to the civil rights movement. Black folks had their own. They leaned on each other. It wasn't, oh, the white man come help me. Let's go use the white man stuff. We had our own stuff. We helped like with the bus lines. Black folks had their own bus lines, but they didn't just go in Black neighborhoods. They went to white neighborhoods. They had white clients and white customers, and everything was good. But you destabilize that family. You incentivize the woman to break up that family, to run the man away. Then all of a sudden, everything else falls apart, because that's the foundation. It doesn't matter what you're trying to build, whether it's a birdhouse or a skyscraper. The foundation has to be solid. It cannot be shaken, or whatever you build on top of it is going to fail. And even something as big as a community of people, if the foundation is cracked, it's going to be fucked up. And you have us taking this bullshit and these lies and running with it. I learned this at the Uncle Tom 2 premiere that we went to, and took Craig Long seats and sat with Larry Elder. But anyway, I learned this, that you'll hear about the Tulsa, Oklahoma massacres, that Black Wall Street. Black people had this town, and they were successful in banks and businesses and neighborhoods, and everything was great. And then these boss hog white men woke up one day and said, we're going to tear it down. So they went through there, just like they said in Blazing Saddles, a riding and a whomping. So they're in there burning shit, killing Black people, beating Black people, and they burn Black Wall Street to the ground. So then we're told that was it. That was the end of Black Wall Street. That the white man came in, crushed it. And we were so emotionally shaken and hurt that we just couldn't repair. And I remember thinking, when I first heard this whole Black Wall Street thing, I remember thinking, well, why didn't they rebuild it?
I thought the same thing.
Did they take all the 2x4s and the nails and why didn't we just build it again? Were they so beaten down? Did they give everything they had to the first Black Wall Street that they just didn't have it in them to build another one? And then I come to find out 4 years later, they rebuilt that shit. They built it and rebuilt it in 4 years. That's faster than if you had the government come help you. They relied on themselves. They got the people together and they rebuilt that shit in the face of those racist white people who burned it down in the first place. But they leave that part of the story out.
Always.
You never hear that it was rebuilt in record time. 4 years to rebuild a town? But they leave they leave that part out. So whether it be the LBJs or the Black Wall Street or any other atrocities that have been perpetrated upon the Black folks in America, it takes our participants to make it work. We have to participate in it to make it work, to destabilize the family and all these bad things. It takes us. And if we don't help, it won't happen. But for some reason, we bought that shit hook, line, and sinker.
Facts.
I don't get it, man.
Now, what does that say about Black people? Right? If you say that Black people are so easily bamboozled, right? You have this government program that was instituted for everybody, but Black people were the only ones that used it to destroy their families. And then they say that crack cocaine or cocaine was put in the Black neighborhoods, right? We're the ones that went and sold it. Now, what does that say about us? Like, what does that say about us, that we don't have the agency to make smart decisions on our own, that the government is just coming by and just saying, okay, well, we have these things that we're going to use to try to destroy Black people, and Black people are just going to do it because they're too stupid to make good decisions? Or with the abortion, like with Planned Parenthood, Black people are just too stupid not to abort their children? Like, no, that's decisions that we are making on our own, and the government is putting this stuff out there, but we are the ones that are doing these things, and we have to figure out why we keep doing these things.
Yeah, and even if you're a Black person, you're one of these pro-Blacks who push this shit, the things that you're espousing can't be true unless you admit, or unless you state, that you think that Black people aren't as smart as other people. And what I mean by that is, how else do you explain an entire group of people falling for this? You don't want to admit that it's fatherlessness. You don't want to admit that it's the breakdown of the nuclear family. So then what is it? Why are we, like you said, why are we falling for it, but nobody else? How come Mexicans don't have the same story in America like we do, or Chinese people? They or the Irish or the Italians, they all had it bad when they came over here. Irish need not apply. You have what is it? WAP. You know, for the Italians, without papers when they came to Ellis Island. Everybody had it pretty tough here. But how come nobody else is so downtrodden like the Black community? Why is it? If it's not what we think it is, the breakdown of the nuclear family and fatherlessness, well, there's only one other option. So I would love to hear them say that out loud.
Yeah,
but they won't, because
they won't.
Full of shit.
No,
they're full of shit.
They won't.
So stupid. I'm trying to find where I had that video of Gavin bang your wife Newsom was he in San Francisco? Yeah, he was in San Francisco because the stupid mayor was standing behind him. And I had it. What the hell did I do with it? Hold on. But Gavin Newsom was in San Francisco, and he, of course, there's this big controversy about them cleaning up San Francisco because they have APEC going on, like Asian Pacific Economic Conference, some shit, some climate change bullshit that they're coming here for. And you have China and all these other leaders, from Asia coming here. And I'll pull that up on the screen right now so you can see it. So you see these, and what I'm tripping off of are the barriers. Are they expecting a crowd of people to be on the sidewalk, and they're keeping them away from the motorcade? Or what's with that? What's with the barricade? They don't even do that when our president comes to town. So why, when the Asian and these other world leaders, the president of China, when they come to town? And as you can see, not only do they pick up the trash and then move the homeless people, where do they go? Where do the homeless people go? Are they in the same place where one of your socks ends up out of the laundry? Did they just disappear? What happened to them? Where did they put them?
They probably put them in hotels.
Probably with the illegals. But not only did they move the homeless people and all their tents and shit and repaint things, they even they clean the sidewalk. Like they deep clean, like your mom would kick you out of the house on a Saturday morning and just have her music, Motown or gospel music, whatever she was into, blasting through the house while she cleaned. And you weren't allowed to come into the house until after. So they were down there deep cleaning, scrubbing these streets for the leaders of Asia to come here. And the reason I'm bringing up Gavin Newsom, I hate to say his name. His name burns my tongue. But since you are from Texas, you're outside of California, how real of a possibility do you think it is? Now, I don't think we'll have, unless he's installed, Sloppy Joe steps down, maybe via the 25th Amendment. Dumbass Kamala steps up. She's, I can't handle it. And, of course, she's president, so they nominate Gavin Newsom as the vice. Kamala steps down. Now he's president. I think unless they do it something that way or some way like that, I don't think we'll have it. I don't think he would beat Trump in a head-to-head election. But post-2020, anything's possible.
Yeah.
So being outside of California, because if you're in California, you know what Gavin Newsom's all about. But being outside of California, how real of a possibility do you think that is? Or do you think people in Texas or maybe other states are hip to what he's about, or are they just out of touch because they're not here? And that's a real possibility.
Yeah, I think most people in Texas and other areas outside of California, if you're not politically engaged, I don't think you really know who Gavin Newsom is. I think he's just another Democrat to them, if they even know who he is or what state he governs. I think most people are just not involved. He's not somebody who has been in the mainstream media as much as some other people. When we had the governor of New York, I can't remember his name, during COVID, everybody knew him, right? So if they installed him for the 2020 election, then people might have voted for him because his name was all in the media based on what was going on for COVID. But with Gavin Newsom, I don't think a lot of people know him. And I don't think that he would even stand a chance against Trump in 2024. I just don't see it. I just don't think that the Democrats have enough firepower to compete with the wave that I believe is coming with Trump in 2024.
I am glad to hear that. It fills me with hope. And I hope that you're right. See, I want to get this shit over with. I wish we could vote for the president tomorrow.
Yeah,
let's get this shit over with. Why suffer through another year of Sloppy Joe and his ilk when we know Trump is going to be president? Let's just have the election and get it over with. And I think the more days they have this man sitting in court and on this bullshit, and I think what was it? I think I read yesterday, his lawyer started a petition or whatever, not a petition, but basically wants there to a mistrial to be declared. So what happens when they declare a mistrial and Trump is exonerated and he's let go? He's a free man. I think that is going to further embolden his base. I think that's going to just be more fodder to vote for him. And I think it's going to bring even more people from that side. Now, they may not change their political views forever, but I definitely think for the election, they're going to vote for Trump because I think, I think most people are pretty intelligent and they know in their heart of hearts that if they're going to do this to Trump is a cisgender white male who's rich. He is public enemy number one.
Yep.
And if they will do that to him with his resources, they would do that to us without a second thought. So it's in our best interest to vote for Trump and make him president. And so he can literally make America great again.
Yeah,
but this shit here.
But they keep moving the goalposts, right? You would think that, well, since Trump is a cisgender, I hate that term, cisgender, but since he's a straight white male and rich straight white male, that he should have all these privileges, right? So you would think that they wouldn't do this to somebody like that. And that's something that we would say. If you say that cisgender white males have all this privilege, rich white males have all this privilege, then why is he sitting in court? Why does he have 4 indictments against him? Then they'll say, well, if he wasn't a cisgender rich white male, he would have been in jail already. So I guess you don't believe in due process, do you?
That's Will says, please don't use cis. I was just using it to make a point. I don't use that bullshit. That's disgusting. But just speaking the way that they do. that's the way they see him. They see him as this evil, white Christian male who's straight, who doesn't want to bang dudes. So he's a problem, but he's our representative. He's our mouthpiece. So if they hate him, if they have that hate for him, they can't even put into words their hate for us. They despise us. We are less than human to them. We are an obstruction in their path. We are a speed bump, a roadblock. They hate us. If they could kill us all, if they could wave their magic wand and kill us all, I guarantee you they would.
That's facts.
I guarantee it. I think they would, because they hate us. Look at what they did during the sweet and sour sniffles. They were killing people. They were killing people. They were killing their businesses. They were robbing our children of a year of education. The poor kids who couldn't have a graduation or a prom because of that bullshit. Do you know what you do to your body as a teenager and a young adult? I know COVID gonna do a damn thing. But those children were robbed of experiences.
Yeah, people couldn't go to loved ones' funerals back then. It was so crazy.
My stepdad died, and they limited the funeral to 10 people, and it was outside. It was outside. So what's the problem? Okay, we'll socially distance, which is bullshit. And everything that came from that, all the mandates and the rules and regulations and the social distancing and wipe down the surfaces, it all ended up being bullshit.
Yep.
It was all wrong. It was
all
the Pope,
wrong.
all of that. Wrong. They were wrong about everything.
Wrong. Everything was wrong.
Everything. I remember the CDC posted some shit. The Center for Disease Control. They posted some shit on their website about the sweet and sour sniffles and then took it down. Whoops. What do you mean, whoops? We're supposed to be able to turn to you for information. You're a government entity. You're supposed to know better. You're supposed to have all the resources. You're supposed to know you got the equipment and the money and the resources and the scientists to learn this shit before we do. And you put some shit up on your website and say, whoops, we got to take it down. Our bad.
Crazy.
What kind of popsicle stand, lemonade stand bullshit is this? You guys might as well step aside and let us handle it. Let us handle our own lives and our own safety, because you guys are incompetent.
Yep, but they don't trust us.
Yeah, they don't trust us.
And we don't trust them.
Yeah, we don't trust you. How do you not trust us? That's like somebody who cheated on their spouse and now you're on them. You're watching them. Where you going? What you doing? You did it to me. Yep. How are you going to be up my ass now? Man, I can't stand those sons of bitches, man. I really can't.
Yep, it's crazy, but they could do it again.
I mean, really.
What do you think about that? Do you think they're going to do it again in 2024?
Oliver Mack. Could they? Would they try? Yes, of course. They're humans. Humans are fucking disgusting. But I don't think they will. I think they fear the backlash of the people. Man.
Well, see, sometimes I feel like the people have had enough of that stuff. The people had enough of wearing masks. The people had enough of being forced to take a vaccine. Sometimes I feel like that. Sometimes I feel like people are on our side with that. But then I go to work, and I work at a hospital in Houston, and I see the majority of people on our nursing units still wearing masks. So then I wonder, would it work again? It might, because people are still afraid of COVID to this day.
Oh, now, hold on. Now, could COVID work again? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Because COVID gave people a voice. COVID gave, if you wanted it, if you believed it in the mask and all that stuff and the pokes and everything, it gave you a voice. It gave you a massive megaphone for the whole world to hear, because they had an ability to separate themselves from everybody. This created a situation where they could elevate themselves above other people in their mind.
Yeah.
I'm wearing my mask. I'm socially distancing. I got the poke. I got the boosters. So I'm better than you. Then you have, people like Sloppy Joe getting on TV saying, you see that empty seat next to you at the breakfast table? You killed grandma. You hate your fellow American citizens if you don't get this fucking jungle juice injected in your arm. So it put them on a pedestal.
Yep.
It put them above everybody else. And it felt good because in their normal life, nobody gave a shit.
Right.
These are the people that nobody wanted to talk to. These are the people that say, oh, shit, I got to go. These are the people that no one will return their text message. You didn't see my text from 2 days ago? Oh, shit. These are the people that were ignored. And now they got a voice, and they're backed by the government. They're backed by Hollywood. They're backed by academia. They're backed by the medical field. They got homeboys now. Now they're part of a gang. They've joined a gang. And that gang is going to back them up. And their rival is us.
Yep.
They're the Bloods and we're the Crips. We are their rivals because we believe, do what you want to do. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put something in my body to make you feel better. But then all that my body, my choice shit, that kind of died down. You didn't hear that too much when it came to the Pope. But these people have joined a gang. They got reinforcements. They got somebody who can back them up. COVID, the mask, oh, hell yeah, that shit can happen again. I think it'll be less people because I think even some of those people woke up and saw, oh, this is bullshit. But will they still be out in force? Will you still have late night comedy shows having people come out as giant needles and do dances? Will they dig up DMC from Run DMC with his raspy ass voice telling you, yo, 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 get the poke. It ain't no joke. Yeah, they'll do that shit again. Will they wheel out some stupid ass mayor of a major city to tell you, hey, if you get the poke, we're going to give you French fries because we care about your health. Fuck yeah, they'll do that. Because ever since that shit died down, nobody gives a shit about those people anymore. And they want to come back to relevance. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
People are so damn stupid. Fuck yeah, that shit could happen again. Oh, man. But this time, you know, those of us who were steadfast last time, it's going to be because I worked at Trader Joe's during that shit.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you didn't get poked, you had to wear a mask, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, I think a lot of people are nice. You know, they don't want to start any shit. I'll put on this stupid shit while I'm in your store and all that. But this time, nah, man. Now that we know that it's bullshit and it's all lies and you got us out here with some fucking cloth mask that our mom's friend stitched on her sewing machine and this isn't real, I think more people are going to be like, fuck you. I'm not doing it. I'm not. They're hiring back the cities. New York City's hiring back the people they fired. Everything's being reversed. So I think there's going to be a difference the second time. But hey, Sloppy Joe told us there's going to be another pandemic.
He sure did. And that's what I'm saying. I think they're preparing us for something. I think something's going to happen in 2024, but I think we need to be ready for it. And the problem I felt we had with the last one is we didn't have too many people that were actually stepping up. I think a lot of us, we had our strong voices and we were out there being the resistance, but a lot of our followers, a lot of the people who subscribe to us, I don't think that we had as many people doing the same thing. I think we needed more people to be out there and just, you know, amongst other people resisting, not wearing a mask, not getting the jab, so they can see that they weren't alone. And I think the next time we're going to have more people so people won't feel like they're alone and they can stand up and resist this stuff. But there's going to be a ton of people out there that are going to just fall back in line just like they fell in line in 2020.
Oh, hell yeah. They're going to be millions of people who are going to bend over and say, can you spit on it? Yeah. Can you spit on it before you fuck me again? They can't wait. I remember seeing a couple outside. My family and I, we were on a hike. And so you park your vehicle, we get the bikes out, and we hit the trail. So we're heading over to hit the trail. We look over, there's a couple. The dude is wearing a mask and the woman is not. And they kissed each other. She kissed him on his mask. I'm like, what? I mean, you guys are a couple, so I'm assuming at some point you're having sex. So you'll do that, but you're going to kiss him through. It was just the dumbest shit. You see people driving around by themselves wearing a mask. I saw two EMTs in an ambulance sitting in the front seat because Trader Joe's was like one of the places where you'd see them park, you know, kind of in the middle so they can, you know, whatever, go to their calls. One of them had a mask on and one of them didn't. So I'm like, how serious is this?
Yep.
And another thing that really stuck out to me is when that's all they would push was the poke. They didn't partner with Under Armour and Nike to give every American a pair of running shoes or a jogging suit. They didn't pair up with what is it, Driscoll or Dole, to give people fresh fruit and vegetables delivered to your door.
Yep.
They weren't handing out free gym memberships. They weren't doing anything else. They weren't getting people out, getting healthy, and by doing that, giving us the power to fix ourselves or to heal ourselves or keep ourselves healthy. It was all about them. No, this is the way. This is the way to health. This is the way to safety, is taking this jab. Nothing else is going to work. I was like, man, because you know how the saying goes, if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, don't trust that son of a bitch. I think that's how it goes. Something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
I was close.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we got some generous folk in here, so let's show some love real quick. I appreciate it. And of course, Mark's music obsession. He is a super chat cherry popper. You are first. You have broken the financial hymen. Thank you, Mark's music obsession. He says cherry pop. Yes. And you are surprisingly gentle. Bacon stuffed donut. Sounds good to me. Shit. Thank you, Bacon Stuffed Donut, for the Hamilton. He says, I grew up as a white guy in the slums of Los Angeles and got black homies who were treetop Pyru bloods who now are entrepreneurs who now endorse Trump. Ain't that some shit?
That is some shit. Cool. All right. And I mean, you've seen the switch, right? You've seen the switch. We have what? Sexy Red. I don't like her endorsement, but hey, I didn't expect that either. We got a lot of black entertainers that have come out and endorsing Trump, said they like Trump. And hey, I'm cool with that because they're making it cool to like Trump.
Yeah, because people vote with their wallet. You talk all that shit you want. You can make all the songs you want and all the posts you want. But when your accountant calls you up and says, ugh, hey, you got time to talk? Like, what's going on? Man, this interest rates, inflation, because everybody eats. Yep. Everybody eats. Everybody has to buy food. Everybody has to go to the grocery store. Even if you have somebody go for you, maybe you're rich and you have a shopper, but somebody has to go to the grocery store to feed your ass, and it is out of control.
It's out of control.
It is absolutely ridiculous. My wife bought $150 worth of groceries today. I was like, did you leave the other half in the trunk? No,
that's crazy.
That was it. This is $150 worth of groceries. Shit will make you sick. So I think a lot of people are coming around to that too. And when you start fucking with the interest rates, buying property and homes and things people like can't that.
Buy. Yeah, it's so hard to buy a house right now because the interest rates are out of this world. Buying a car, like if your car breaks down, you got to go get another one. Good luck.
This is very foreign. I don't remember a time like this in my life.
I have never experienced a time like this.
I don't like it. I want it to stop. I want somebody to get back in control who knows business and runs America like the business that it is. Oh yeah, that's the orange guy, right?
Yeah, orange.
Mr. Kojak, who loves you, baby. So speaking of Oprah and them, isn't it mafia-like to burn the property you want to take over? It is. What do they call that? An insurance scam? People burning their cars, ditching their cars and stuff, burning the house down, burn it down and collect the insurance money. Yeah, that's very mafia-esque.
Yeah. That's
very horse head in your bed. Yeah. But I think when Oprah gets home and she takes her human skin off and hangs it up, I think she's like a winged demon. Like she has scales and veiny wings.
You never know, man. You never know. These people.
She can't be human. She used to recruit young girls for Harvey Weinstein. Oprah's disgusting. And every housewife in America. Oprah, you're the best. Ugh. Woman's a fucking demon. Bob KMIT, I thank you. He says, did you see Trump's lawyer wearing a necklace that said FJB? LOL, funny as hell.
I sure did. She had a little MAGA clutch or handbag too. That was pretty dope.
Look, guys, this is the kind of shit. These are the kind of gems that you get from Trump when he's in office,
Mm-hmm.
when he's behind that mic. This is the kind of shit you get. He wore
There's never a dull moment
that says "fuck Joe Biden." Come on, girl. And the clutch. Oh man, you don't get this from no other damn administration. Quit fucking around.
Mm-mm.
Get these sorry ass people out there. Get back to a real president. You remember that video where he's overseas and there's a group of them walking up somewhere and he like bulldogs to the front. Like, get the fuck out of the way.
Yep.
He almost like face palm. Get your ass out the way. You know who I am?
Savagery.
You know who my people are? Oh, I loved it, man.
I love that too.
Bring that back. I wouldn't be mad if Trump was overseas, like at a NATO meeting, and he pulled his dick out and just peed on the leg of some prime minister. Like, fuck you. What are you going to do? I make all this possible. This country you live in, this safety, this is America. My military's over here protecting your bitch ass. I'm pumping money into your economy. Man, you better.
Trump had the most gangsterous moments I've ever seen of any president. This whole Biden administration, we spent all our time laughing at his dumb ass.
Dude, let him, every time he goes somewhere.
Huh? Where
just
am
a
I?
fucking lost old man. I don't have anything against senile old men.
But they don't belong running. They don't belong running the country.
Yeah, as long as you're under 24-hour care.
Yep.
But not with your hand over the nuclear launch button. I can't have that. You don't belong here. You and Jill need to go somewhere. You need to fill up her purse with hard candy and get the fuck out of here. Will, I thank you. I'm going to turn my fan on real quick. Will says, thanks for all you do, Jericho. Hey, good looking out, man. Thank you for the Hamilton. Appreciate that shit. Thank you for being here. Because if you weren't here, nobody would be able to listen to the things that I do. But basically, let's get Trump back in here. And the cool thing is, one of the cool things about having Trump back, not only all of the things that he's going to do, but he can do them quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want it to all be through executive order. I don't like that to be overused. Some things he's going to have to, just like Sloppy Joe and his dumbass got in. He fucked up a bunch of things via executive order, but I want it to be done the right way. I want him to have the support of the Congress and the Senate if it's something that's right and it's something that the American people want. I hate that they dislike Trump or they get in his way and they bog him down when he's trying to do shit for us. If you're all looking out for our best interests, then it shouldn't matter who the president is. It's good for us. Do it.
Yep. Being
a politician should be the easiest job in the world. Constituents, tell me what you want. Cool. I'm going to go to DC and get it for you. Mm-hmm. That's it. And no matter how fucked up it is or stupid it is or detrimental it is, as long as it's what the people want, I'm going to give it to you. If it goes sideways, you can't blame me. Yep. I just gave you exactly what you wanted. But that's easy. You're a waiter. You take my order, go in the kitchen, and bring out the shit that I asked you for. Period. People will vote you in forever. Just do what they want. I don't get it. Any last words, Oliver, Matt?
Nah, I wish we did have a government that worked for us, but we have a government that is working for each other and working for foreign interests. So I don't want to see something like that. I'm looking forward to 2024 and this election. I hope that people get it right. I hope there's no shenanigans going on, but we never know. We just have to wait and see what's going to happen. But I'm hoping that we can get it done. But I thank you so much for allowing me to be on your platform, Jericho. This is amazing conversation. Always a pleasure. And you have an amazing audience too. A bunch of great patriots. I was reading the comments, so you guys are hilarious, and I know you all love this country.
Yeah, well, thank you, Oliver. Thank you for taking the time to be here and get you to your beautiful family. Just know, guys, that there's hope. We have not lost. It's looking grim and it's looking dim, but we still have a chance. We still have a chance to turn things around and get the right people in the right positions to make our lives better, because that's what it's about. It's about us. This is a time where it's okay to be selfish. It's about us, the American people, and not them. Me, not you. You get your ass over there and do what I tell you, period. But you guys want more of Oliver Mack, like I said, get in the description box. I have a link to his YouTube channel. Make sure you follow him on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, you need to be following Oliver Mack, period. At Right Winged Angel. You want to know what the hell is going on? You want to check in, you want to see what the enemy's doing? See what Oliver does is he crawls under the barbed wire to the enemy side and sees what the hell they're doing. And then he comes back and he reports. So don't have that man risking his life over there for nothing.
That is a great description. Thank you.
Right? For real. Because you have stuff on there, the
that is what I'm doing. Yep, that is what I'm doing.
He has a knife in his teeth and he's low crawling under the barbed wire to the enemy stronghold, and he's coming back and letting us know what the fuck is going on. So support this man right now. Oliver, I thank you. I thank you guys for being here, your time, your questions, your comments, your fucking money. Thank you guys very much. And don't forget, this is where you need to be, live multiple times a week. Check out my YouTube channel. Check out my new YouTube channel, Green's House, where I have interesting people telling amazing stories. And while I was on here with Oliver Mack, I won't tell you everything, but a celebrity that probably all of you know, you've seen his movies. I'm trying to line up an interview with him as well. So make sure you guys check that out. I appreciate you. Again, Oliver, thank you. You guys stay American.